I've been trading, it's 16 years I've been trading now, right?
Yeah.
And if I show people how ridiculously simple my strategy is, they would not believe it. Since the understanding of DeepSeek and how it all works has come out, we've seen this nice move up. But on Canada and Mexico's end, it actually hits them hugely. So these job numbers are important. If we come in lower than expectations, that's technically potentially a good thing for the stock market, because obviously if we come in lower, then that may force the Fed to cut interest rates to help support the job market and make sure that the labor market remains strong. So don't only think that this number is positive, is good for stocks. A negative number could force the Fed to act at some stage to cut interest rates, which is obviously frees up more capital for people to trade in stocks. And whenever we hear anything about cutting, it's usually a good idea. Now, just quickly, the Fed's futures funds, we watch this really carefully. At the moment, the probability of a rate cut at the next Fed meeting is pretty low. So it's 19th of March is the next Fed meeting, and we're expected to stay between 4.25 and 4.5%. 85% likely in terms of probability, and at the moment 14.5% of a cut. So it's very, very low likely that we're going to get a cut. So we need to watch how those metrics change. That's the main thing about what we're doing today.
Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, so I know that right now the forecasted is
All numbers come in low. It's 143, so 143K with expectations of 169K. So the number has come in low.
oh wow, yours
So
came
this
in
will.
quick. Oh no, yeah, now I got it. 143. Mine was a
I've
little
got my
slow to
new
update.
So we've seen a spike up in gold. So that's one thing that we were looking at. I'm just going to go and check SPY, and I used this one on ICE. So these are my levels. So we've come back up. We've just spiked at my level, my resistance zone, and it's come back down at the moment. So the initial reaction was a really, really strong positive reaction in gold. So we'll keep an eye on that. VIX. There's not too much movement yet. On my SPY, I just need to add the extended hours. So give me a second. So we've seen a move down at the moment in stocks. So we'll just keep an eye on this chart for a few seconds. The biggest, obviously, moves are going to come in interest rates. So you saw that the interest rate futures market. So I've got the yields up. They dropped down very heavily, which is technically a positive for the stock market. So we need to just keep an eye on whether that's going to continue. So this could be a really interesting session in the afternoon for stocks here. I'm just going to run through some of the other numbers. So average hourly earnings, that came in positive, which was the one that I was having to tell you about just in regards to matching inflation. So that's come up at 0.5% with 0.3% expectation. So much bigger than expectations. Unemployment rate is also lower. That's gone down to 4% now, which is very, very positive for the Fed. So although the non-farm payrolls number has come in lower than expectations, the other two metrics that traders are going to be looking at very heavily, which is average hourly earnings month on month and unemployment, they've come in positive for the Fed. So don't just listen to the non-farm payrolls number on its own. I hope that makes sense to you, Damon.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm tracking. That's really good. A lot of good information there. We actually we got a question in from our live chat here from somebody, and Duncan from Twitter asked, what asset do you like to trade the most?
And so on my charts, I keep this big seven list, the Mag Seven. I trade these ones the most: so Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Meta. Basically, because the size that I trade, the volume that's in that market, it enables me to get in and out, without any issues. So they're my favorite to trade, really, just because of the volume and the way that they move.
Trading pretty much mostly tech stocks there. How have you reacted with the deep sea things and all that volatility coming from the deep sea new releases?
Yeah, it was amazing, like in the sense that to try and catch a short. So I'll just show you what I put up on my video charts in general. So I'm just going to get this and show you how I look at the charts. So I look at the charts with side by side with a 5 minute along with a daily, kind of like this. So
Mm-hmm.
when we break below and we move down, I'm normally like my bias is generally short, but obviously since the understanding of DeepSeek and how it all works has come out, we've seen this nice move up. So I try and as long as we're getting and staying above the moving averages and we're trying to get up, my bias is generally a long position here. But in fairness, I've been focusing a lot more on Meta these past these past few days, because you can see like we're having day upon day upon day of positive price action. So again, as long as I'm then matching my longer term chart with my shorter term chart, as soon as I get into these areas, like this day here would be a perfect one for me, the February the 5th there. And then even today, look, we're expected to open higher and above the moving average.
Yeah.
We're already above the moving average in a positive position. This would be more my style of trade, because of the way the sentiment is matching what's going on. Nvidia has been a bit choppy. I've not got definitive answers in the video, so
Yeah.
I kind of steer clear. But it's definitely a great chart. I do love where it's heading, and how that whole DeepSeek thing has made it react. Because if we go long term, it needed a consolidation pullback. That was relentless, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of yeah, I've been tracking this, and it's just even just I use AI a lot just on the actual technology aspect of it, and
Yeah.
but the battle between the two, ChatGPT and DeepSeek has been crazy. My actually next question, and someone in the chat asked this as well, is how do you think the Trump tariffs will impact the markets? I know that with Nvidia specifically, a lot of their competitors will have a lot higher prices and everything with the imports of chips. So how do you think just overall with all your assets that you trade, how do you think those incoming tariffs will impact the markets for you?
Yeah, so we've done quite a lot of analysis on this, in terms of the tariffs and how they're set. So US GDP, a lot of the tariffs only hit US GDP by less than 1%. But on Canada and Mexico's end, it actually hits them hugely, massively. So we're talking about, like 25% of their GDP is reliant on American consumption.
Mhm.
So I would probably look at it, trading like MXN and dollar CAD. That they're ways to trade it really well. In terms of the actual companies like Ford, General Motors, a lot of their business, a lot of their manufacturing is done in countries that are going to be tariffed. So my favorite way to look at it is Meta and Netflix. They're not going to be, they're online, they're in the cloud, they're on the internet. They're not going to be hit by any of these tariffs. But then you've got the other end, which is the General Motors, the Fords, the pharmaceutical companies, all of this kind of stuff. They are definitely going to be hit. So pick and choose the sector rotation of where the money's going to flow. The money will flow into Facebook, it will flow into Netflix, but it will come out of places like Ford, General Motors, places like that, even pharmaceutical companies, because a lot of their manufacturing is done in China,
Mhm.
and then it will flow into the right zones, and it will balance out in the right way. That is how I'm trading it, actually.
Are you a big fan of trading news events?
Yeah, it depends what the event is. So inflation data, yeah. So if I wouldn't call myself a perma bull, but I'm naturally more bullish on stocks. So if I gather the data that makes me think that inflation is going to come in lower than expectations, and that the asymmetric risk to reward is on the right side, I will place a speculative trade. My trades are always very controlled. I take the same amount of risk for every trade, but I'm very happy to speculate on half risk for a position on a news event. Never really full risk, but half risk, yeah, I'll definitely do.
If I just started trading this week and I just started learning and trying to figure out what strategy works for me, what's the number one piece of advice you could give to a new trader?
Yeah, so there's three things that I think make a good trader. So the first thing I would say before that is pick one strategy and run one strategy. Don't strategy hop, because that just confuses people. It makes things really, really difficult. So pick one strategy that's quantifiable and stick with it. Then when you've done that, you need consistency, you need determination, and you need to be able to just let the results play out, because it's so easy to tinker around with trades and stuff. So the psychology, system, and the risk management, those three things are what makes a good trader, and they're all just as important as each other. There's no one thing that's more important than each other with that.
Yeah, I'd agree 100%. I mean, being here at BullRush, I talk to hundreds of traders. I interview a lot of our winners, and talking to a lot of people here. That's one of the biggest issues here. Fire alarm going off. Sorry, I think it's a test. I think if you start seeing fire behind me, just let me know. I think it's a test.
I'll call 911 for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. But I was gonna say, one thing that I see almost every single person that has kind of turned their trading journey around, and one of the big issues that most people do is just that strategy hopping. This kills people. Maybe someone might start a new strategy or try something out, and they might make some money one day, and then as soon as they lose money, they go to a new strategy instead of just refining that strategy. And now they're just living that repeat cycle of, oh, this works for one day it doesn't work,
Yeah.
new strategy, and then they have to keep relearning and keep relearning, so that they don't have that time to refine the strategy and actually perfect it. And most professional traders and educators like just say they only trade one strategy or just a handful of assets. And the two biggest things is, yeah, strategy jumping that I see, and people trying to trade every single asset in the market.
I completely agree with you. I mean, if I've been trading, it's 16 years I've been trading now, right?
Yeah.
And if I show people how ridiculously simple my strategy is, they would not believe it. Like, to be honest, I take one trade every day, and it's so simple, and it works. And I win 50% of the time,
Yep.
and my risk to reward is positive. So I always aim for 2 to 1 risk to reward, and
Mm-hmm.
that's literally all you need. You don't need to have it complicated. The hard part is what's between your ears.
You have a 50% win rate, like you just said. That's something like I haven't been trading for a long time. Like I said, I started trading crypto when I was in college, so I've only been in the trading space for maybe 6 years now, 7 years now. And in my head, mentally, and you're really big on trading psychology. I know that's one of your specialties. Is psychologically, I think I have to be like, to be a successful trader, to do trading full time, I need to have a 75-80% win rate, because if I don't, then I'm not a good trader. But having a 50% win rate, as long as you have your risk to reward set right, and most people just have, not most, but I see a lot of people who have those even, and it's like, you can't have your risk and reward even and then think that you're gonna make you're gonna do this for a living. And yeah, it's I've learned a lot about what not to do being
Good.
here.
No, no, but that's the journey, right? That is the
Exactly.
journey. Like, if you go and study some of the world's best hedge funds ever, I've seen some hedge funds perform really well with 35% win rates, because they hold on to their trades, they compound onto their trades, they do really well. So each to their own. We've got to work out what suits us and our personalities, 100%.
Exactly. um, Well, I know we have we have some news that we'll announce here in the future, between us, DND and BullRush, and we'll talk about that in the future. But I'm really excited to announce that in the future, and I think that's going to be a really big thing. And it's been really great talking to you. I learned a lot. And for anybody that doesn't know, let me just pull up your website here. DND Trading is a great trading school. Of course, you can learn right from Raj, and I know you guys have a few different instructors there, and people posting educational content. You guys also, I checked out your YouTube, got some great videos on YouTube, and of course, check out your guys' Instagram. Well, it's been great talking to you, Raj. Can't
Thank
wait till the
you.
next time. I'm
Cheers.
sure we'll talk more, and you're going to see a lot more from BullRush and D&D Trading in the future. So have a great day.
Thank you. Cheers, Chad.
Yep.